Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Feeding the Curious Mind. My name's John Pullen and I'm a writer of fiction and non-fiction books. In this episode we're going to have a look at the planet Venus. It's second closest to the Sun after Mercury, and it has a number of very strange things about it. Initially it was thought to be not only one star but two stars. It's the second brightest object in the night sky after the moon. And because it's closer to the Sun than the Earth, it appears closer to the Sun, which means in actual fact that we see it as a morning star close to the horizon, and we see it at sunset, once again close to the horizon. And that was the reason why people initially thought it were two stars. By the 5th century before the Common Era, we actually knew then that it was a planet. And they knew it was closer to the Sun, and therefore, it must be warmer. It's also about the same size as the Earth, and it's a solid planet, not a gaseous giant. Therefore, people thought, okay, this is likely to be full of life. And this was believed for many, many years. When we discovered that Venus was covered in thick clouds, this didn't diminish at all the idea of life. People then began to think that it must be very similar to our rainforest, tropical rainforest. Therefore, we get below the clouds and we're going to find jungles and warmth and rain and life, perhaps as we know it or not as we know it. When we sent probes as flypasts to Venus, and also we've now landed on Venus, the story is very different. The clouds consist of sulfuric acid, not very nice. But the majority of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide, and that should ring a bell of concern in all of us, because we're being told that with global warming, of course, carbon dioxide is increasing in our atmosphere. So could we look ahead and think that if we left global warming completely untreated, there would be a point in the future where the Earth could become similar to Venus? It's possible. What would we find on there? Well, yes, it's a bit warmer than the Earth. The surface is 600 degrees Celsius, 6 times the boiling point of water. It's hotter than the surface of Mercury, which is much, much closer to the Sun. So this should strike us as a big warning. There are also two unusual aspects to this planet. One is that it rotates in the opposite direction to the Earth and most of the other planets. This means that the Sun rises in the west and sunset is in the east. The other thing about this planet is that its day is longer than its year. We have a day of 24 hours. Venus has a day of 243 Earth days, which is about 20 days longer than its year. So Venus is an interesting planet. It's totally inhospitable to human beings, and all of the ideas that there would be life on there, well, if there is, it's definitely not life as we know it. So we're unlikely ever to visit it as humans. So I think we need to look perhaps further out to Mars in the future, and we'll talk about that in a future episode.